Good morning, everybody. This is Miss Glink, and today for this show, I'm going to talk to you about context clues. So, context clues, as I've said many times before, are a huge thing that it's really important for you to know. Because if you know a lot of vocabulary words and know how to figure out words that you don't know, then it's going to help you a lot in the future and be a successful reader. So, just to review, what are context clues? So context clues are words or phrases in a sentence that help you figure out the meaning of another word. So obviously we've talked about how these clues aren't necessarily going to be in the same sentence, but they could be in the sentence before or the sentence after as well. So if you look at the bottom, things that might help you understand what words mean could be pictures, helping words, words you know, or synonyms, which are words that mean the same, and antonyms, or opposites. So I thought this little trick might help you. There's different types of context clues that you can use to help you understand what words mean. And there's a little acronym that I found that was kind of interesting. And if you think of the word ideas, so that all the letters of ideas stand for a different word that helps you know what words mean. So for the first, the I stands for infer. So we know an inference is basically being a detective and figuring out what a word means based on your background knowledge and what it says in the text. So, like I said, here's the clues in the text and what you already know. That's your background knowledge. So let's take a look over here at this example in the sentence. So it says, I know Mrs. Sue will want to help. She's very compassionate. Well, I know my background knowledge. I understand what compassionate means. It means really helpful. But let's make sure we can prove it in the text, because we can't just go on background knowledge alone. We have to look for words that are actually around in the sentence. So I see the word help, or actually want to help. So if she wants to help, that means that she's really nice. She's helpful. So compassionate, to me, if she wants to help, means kind or caring. Any of those would work. The second letter of ideas is D. So that stands for definition. So we know what a definition is. A definition means it's telling us exactly what the word means. So one of the big clue words is looking for words like or. So check out this sentence over here. So we have the police thwarted or stopped the thief. Check this out. Here's a comma, or. So if it pauses after a word and says, or this, what that's basically saying is, hey, I'm about to tell you exactly what the word means. So stopped would be the meaning of thwarted. The next letter in ideas is E. So we have example. So an example, just basically what it means what it says. There's an example of the word in the text. So over here in the sentence it says the waitress will bring a beverage such as a Coke, Sprite, or lemonade. Now a huge indicator or clue that you're going to be talking about an example, you might see phrases like this, such as. You might even see, for example. Basically, it's a phrase that gives you a heads up that we're about to ready to give you some ideas of what this might look like. So the next clue in ideas is A, antonyms. And we know that antonyms mean the opposite. So in this example over here, we have Missy likes spinach, but Tommy detests it. So we have this fanboy word, but. But is a big indicator that something is going to be different. Remember we have that text structure of compare and contrast? Well, this would be contrasting because it means the opposite. It's something that's a change or different. We know Missy likes spinach, but Tommy detests it. So it means he hates it or dislikes it very strongly. So our last letter in the word ideas is S, synonyms. So a synonym is a word with the same meaning. Remember, we think S for synonym means the same. In our example over here, we have the loud car crash was deafening. That means there's going to be a word in this sentence that means the same exact thing as the word deafening. Well, I know deafening would be giving me a word that describes something. Well, if something was deafening, I know the root word of deaf. It means you can't hear. Well, what causes you not to be able to hear? Something that's loud, and you can't hear it, but it just means that it makes it really hard on your ears. It might cause a person to go deaf. So, I know deafening means loud. So this is an example of an activity that we've done in the past. So we have a few short little paragraphs, and it's going to have a nonsense word in it, because if we can figure out context clues to figure out what real words mean, we can definitely use them to figure out what nonsense word mean. And let's face it, it's really fun to use this practice with words you don't see every day. So the paragraph says, last summer, Maggie learned how to garbler when she went to the beach on summer vacation with her family. She saved up her money to pay for garbling lessons, and she rented a garbler board and a wetsuit. Her teacher helped her swim out to the ocean. It took many, many tries, but she finally caught a wave and was standing up on her garbler board and garbling on the ocean wave. So you notice the same word, or is just different forms of the same word, garble. So we have to figure out what do you think, so I'm going to circle my keywords. What do you think garbling is? So I'm going to look for clues. I'm not going to just jump right in and say, oh, I think I know what it means. I have to prove it in the text. So I know something, it happened last summer. She was at the beach, and it's a lesson of some sort. So you have to take lessons in order to do it. You need a board and a wetsuit. So this means if you need a wetsuit, that tells me that it's happening in the water. So if she's on the beach, it's definitely happening in the ocean. Oh, and look, I just proved it. She had to swim out into the ocean. And, she's catching a wave. Oh, so maybe it means that she's boogie boarding or body surfing. So let's see here. Okay. Oh, here it is. And she was standing up. Well, that's definitely not boogie boarding or body surfing. If you're standing up on a wave on a board, that is definitely surfing. And I can prove this down here at the bottom because I can say Maggie was at the beach. And she took lessons. And had a wetsuit. I'm going to pick the biggest. Notice I'm picking the biggest ones that can prove it. Because I don't just want to pick, oh, she was at the beach and she was in the ocean. Because that doesn't really tell us enough information. And stood up on her board. So I was able to prove it with multiple clues from the text. So here's another example. This one's a little bit shorter, so I'll go ahead and read it aloud. It says, last July, I went with my family to our town celebration to watch the Blastos. We had so much fun watching the bright explosions in the sky. However, my dog was so scared from the loud sounds from the Blastos. He hid under a blanket the whole time until the Blastos were finished. Gee, that sounds like my dog. So I'm going to look at my question. What do you think Blastos are? So I've got to look for clues. So, oh, it happened last July. That might help. Oh, it was a town celebration, so it wasn't just my family. So it sounds like there's a lot of people there. They're watching something. Oh, there's bright explosions in the sky. In the sky might be important. Oh, the dog was scared from the loud sounds. So something that's so loud it would scare a dog. He hid under a blanket. Oh, I know what it is. So Blastos would mean fireworks. So I used my background knowledge to figure this out, plus a lot of the text. So I can prove that Blastos are fireworks because they happened last July. So that tells me definitely, that's a huge clue, because what major holiday happens in July? You're right, definitely, 4th of July. So I'm not going to worry about all of these clues, but like I said, just the big ones. There's bright explosions. And, oh, not, I want to add in the sky. And the dog was scared and hid. So for the last example, it says, my favorite summer food is happlants. My mom always helps me cut open the green rind and slice up pieces of the refreshing red fruit. I don't really like the black seeds, so I spit them out. I wish I could eat happlants all year round, but I only see it in the grocery stores in the summertime. So I'm figuring out, what do you think happlants is? Well, based on my clues, let's see. I know it's a summer food. We have to cut open the green rind and slice up pieces. It's a red fruit. Has black seeds. Now this one's big. I spit them out. So to me that tells me that they're tiny seeds. So this clue, all these clues put together, definitely tell me, well, I only know one kind of fruit that you have to cut open and slice up that's red and with black seeds that you like to spit out. So this is a watermelon. And my clues tell me that it has a green rind, black seeds, red fruit, and it's a summer food. So just remember, with an example like this, if I had just stopped at, oh, it's a red fruit in the summer, well, that wouldn't have given me enough information. Because without the information about the green rind and the black seeds, I wouldn't have been able to figure out is watermelon. I might have thought that it could be apples, and that would have been way off. So just remember to use all your clues that you possibly can to prove your answer. And this is just a fun little slide. So just think of when you're looking for context clues, you have to think like a shark, because you have to look all around to find clues to the meaning of the word, just like these sharks are doing.